Rahula and the teaching of the mirror. Looking at our words and actions before we act. The Buddha was staying near Rajagaya in the bamboo grove, the squirrel's sanctuary. At that time, Rahula was staying at Ambalatthika. One evening, after rising from meditation, the Buddha went to see him. Rahula saw him approaching, prepared a seat, and placed water nearby for washing the feet. The Buddha sat down, washed his feet, and Rahula bowed respectfully before sitting to one side. Rahula had already entered the life of a novice, but ordination did not make his training complete. He still had to learn how to deal with the ordinary moments in which character is formed. MN 61, the discourse to Rahula at Ambalatthika, preserves one of the Buddha's clearest teachings on this training. The lesson begins with something very small. After washing his feet, the Buddha left a little water in the dipper. He drew Rahula's attention to it. "Rahula, do you see this small amount of water?" Rahula said that he did. The Buddha compared that little water with the little integrity left in a person who knowingly tells a lie and feels no shame about it. Then he threw the remaining water away. Again, he asked Rahula to look. A person who deliberately lies and does not care about doing so throws away something essential in the life of training. Then the Buddha turned the dipper upside down. A life of training built without respect for truth could become overturned. Finally, he turned the vessel upright. It was hollow and empty. When deliberate falsehood is treated lightly, the foundation of training itself can become empty. The Buddha then spoke of a royal elephant trained for battle. The elephant might use its feet, head, ears, tusks, and tail while still holding back its trunk. A skilled trainer would understand that the animal had not yet committed everything. But when the elephant finally used its trunk as well, the trainer would know that nothing was being held back. The Buddha used this image to warn Rahula that when a person no longer feels shame about knowingly speaking falsehood, an important restraint has disappeared. He gave Rahula a direct training principle. Train yourself not to tell a deliberate lie, even in jest. This was more than a lesson about polite speech. Truthfulness was a condition for learning. If a person changes the story to protect pride, reflection becomes distorted before it begins. Without honesty, mistakes cannot become useful lessons. Only then did the Buddha introduce the image for which this discourse is especially remembered. He asked, "What is a mirror used for?" Rahula answered, "For looking at oneself." The Buddha explained that actions of body, speech, and mind should be approached through repeated reflection. A mirror does not create a new face. It shows the face already there. It does not praise or condemn. It simply makes seeing possible. In the same way, Rahula was to look carefully at what he was about to do, what he was doing, and what he had already done. The first stage was reflection before action. When Rahula intended to do something with the body, he was to consider its likely consequences. Would this action harm himself? Would it harm another person? Would it harm both? Would it be an unskillful action leading toward painful results? If careful reflection showed that the action would cause such harm, he should not do it. If it appeared harmless and skillful, it was suitable to do. This first stage creates a small but important space between impulse and action. The Buddha's method creates a moment to ask what the action is likely to produce. But reflection before acting is not enough. A choice that looked harmless in advance can begin producing trouble once it is underway. So Rahula was also taught to reflect while acting. If an action already in progress was bringing harm to himself, to others, or to both, he should stop it. If the action remained harmless and skillful, he could continue. Beginning an action does not create an obligation to finish it. If clearer information appears, wisdom may mean changing direction. There was also a third stage. After an action was complete, Rahula should look back. If a bodily action had caused harm, the Buddha told him not to hide it. He should disclose it to the teacher or to a knowledgeable companion in the spiritual life and exercise restraint in the future. The same instruction applied to harmful verbal actions. The training therefore did not depend on pretending to be flawless. It assumed that mistakes could occur. What mattered was what happened after the mistake became visible. Hiding protects the image of the self. Acknowledging protects the possibility of learning. Once an error is recognized, the next responsibility is not endless self-condemnation. It is to admit what happened, understand what went wrong, and train not to repeat it. If the completed bodily or verbal action had been skillful and harmless, Rahula was told to remain glad and continue developing wholesome qualities. Reflection does not mean searching only for faults. Skillful actions should also be recognized and repeated. The Buddha then applied the same pattern to mental actions. Before an intention was developed, Rahula was to examine where it was leading. While it was occurring, he was to keep observing its effects. Afterward, he was to look again. If a mental action had been harmful and unskillful, the response was described differently from bodily and verbal misconduct. The discourse does not tell Rahula to confess a mental event to another person. Instead, he should recognize its unskillfulness, feel appropriate moral concern, and restrain it in the future. If the mental action had been skillful and harmless, he should take gladness in that and continue cultivating wholesome qualities. The structure is precise. There are 3 areas: body, speech, mind, and there are 3 moments: before, during, after. Each moment has a different purpose. Reflection before an action is prevention. There is still time not to begin. Reflection during an action is correction. There is still time to stop or adjust. Reflection after an action is learning. The past cannot be erased, but its consequences can shape the next decision. This is what makes the mirror such a powerful image. Without reflection, we easily become the hero of our own story. We remember what another person did but forget what our response added. We explain our intention but overlook the result. Repeated reflection asks practical questions. What did I intend? What did I actually do? What result followed? A good intention can still use a harmful method. The Buddha's teaching moves attention from identity to action. Instead of asking only, "Am I a good person?" the practical question becomes, "What is this action doing?" If it is harmful, change it. If it is skillful, strengthen it. This also protects reflection from becoming self-hatred. A mirror is not an executioner. Its purpose is not to punish the face for what it shows. If something needs to be cleaned, seeing it clearly makes correction possible. In the same way, recognizing a harmful action matters because the next action can be different. This is why deliberate lying receives such strong attention at the beginning of the discourse. Correction depends on accurate seeing. If we lie whenever the truth threatens our image, the mirror becomes useless. We may excuse an angry message by saying the other person deserved it. We may change the details of a mistake until nothing real remains to learn from. Truthfulness keeps reflection honest. The method is especially useful for speech because words often move faster than wisdom. Before speaking, there is still a chance to ask whether the words are likely to harm. While speaking, there is still a chance to notice that the conversation is going in the wrong direction. After speaking, there is still a chance to recognize the result and make a correction. Saying, "That was not what I meant," may explain intention, but intention is not the whole result. The mirror asks what the words actually produced. Did they clarify? Did they humiliate? Did they solve the problem? Intent matters, and consequences matter too. The same pattern can guide ordinary life. Before sending an angry message, pause. During a difficult conversation, notice whether solving the issue has given way to simply wanting to win. Afterward, review what happened without rewriting the story to protect yourself. If an apology is needed, make it. Then learn from the result. Repeated reflection also means we do not have to wait for a major failure before learning. A careless promise, a patient answer, a rumor we decide not to repeat, or a moment when we stop ourselves from speaking in anger can each become a mirror. The goal is not to become hesitant about everything. The Buddha did not tell Rahula to remain frozen until perfect certainty appeared. He gave him a workable standard. Look for harm to yourself, to others, or to both. Look at whether the action is skillful or unskillful and what kind of result it tends to produce. Then act, adjust, or refrain accordingly. At the end of the discourse, the Buddha widened the lesson beyond Rahula. Those who purified their bodily, verbal, and mental actions in the past did so through repeated reflection. Those who would purify them in the future would do the same. Those practicing rightly in the present also relied on repeated examination. Rahula was therefore being taught more than a rule for a young novice. He was being shown a basic discipline of moral learning. The Buddha told him to train in purifying bodily actions, verbal actions, and mental actions through repeated reflection. Rahula listened and was glad in the teaching. The lesson does not ask us to become people who never make mistakes. It asks us to become people who can see a mistake without immediately hiding from it. People who can stop when harm becomes visible. People who can admit what happened afterward. And people who can recognize a good action clearly enough to repeat it. Before, during, after. That simple rhythm turns ordinary life into a place of training. The mirror does not walk the path for us. It cannot choose the next sentence or move the next hand. But it can show us enough to make a wiser choice possible. Today, before an important word or action, may you find a moment to look clearly. While acting, may you remain attentive enough to change direction when harm appears. Afterward, may you have the honesty to acknowledge what needs correction and the steadiness to continue what was good. And may repeated reflection become not a source of fear, but a quiet skill that helps your body, speech, and mind grow clearer with each choice.